I built a life-size Pokemon, but this isn't just a statue. Before I show you what makes it so special though, why Umbreon? I chose Umbreon for one very specific reason, because its design gives me an opportunity that no other Pokemon could offer. You'll find out about this later. The first thing I needed to do was find a model, check the Pokedex for Umbreon's actual size, and then immediately question my life choices. Now luckily for me, Prusa wanted to send me a Core 1L printer, which allowed me to slice this into 330mm chunks. Without the large build plate, this would have been a nightmare to make. But first, I wanted to add LED lights to this, so I needed a cavity for wiring before I slice it into chunks. The LEDs are really going to make Umbreon glow. Okay, so the plan is I've run wire spacing all the way through the body to everywhere that needs LEDs, right? And then in here, we've carved out a space to allow the LED strips to actually stick and face outwards. And then the wiring will just run back through the body underneath the stomach. This will allow wires to come in here and a battery pack, a power bank to go in here as well and be tucked away. And then for the tail and ears, I just replaced the actual bit under the ring with smaller cylinders, which will connect together. And then we can just wrap LEDs around it. But everything's sliced up, so hopefully when the printer comes, this will just work. Hopefully. Well, it's time to find out because the printer's arrived. I set this thing up, it's assembled in the box, so it takes 5 minutes to put the spool holder on, unscrew the heated bed, put your print bed on, and then set up the actual software side, connecting it to your Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff. But wow, does this printer give off a good first impression. So the printer's set up and ready to go, and it's way bigger than I expected it to be honest. But this gives me a thought. Rather than doing the test print, I wonder if a full Eevee would actually fit in here, like in one single print. Let's have a look. Right, look at this. So this is the Pokedex entry for Eevee, and look, its height is 1 foot tall, which means around about 30 centimeters. So I downloaded the model, scaled it up as big as it would go, and it now goes from 288mm head to toe. And then we have even more room for the ears. So I just had the notification to say that Eevee is apparently finished. So I'm gonna check it out and we're gonna take a look at it. And this is the first print off of this printer. No way, look at this. Look at this, no way. I can't believe it, man. In a single print, a life-size Eevee. It needs painting, but the print quality of this very first print, like literally the first print off of the printer, is insane. The supports remove beautifully. The layer lines are so damn clean. I used Prusa's own Prusament PLA for this. And I mean, most impressively, being able to print something at this scale in one go is absolutely crazy and opens up a ton of options. And now I have a full Eevee added to the project to keep me busy while the Umbreon actually prints. So of course, the next thing to do was to get the Umbreon prints on the actual printer and going ahead, because these were going to take a hell of a long time, which is why the Core 1L actually makes this project viable. Now, obviously, big projects and long prints mean lots of filament, which is why I emailed Tech, because the last thing I want is to put a print on for 20 hours, 25 hours, whatever it be, and then it fails halfway through. I've used Tech filaments loads and I've never had a single issue. So when I emailed them and they said that they would supply the entire build, thank you, Tech. I really appreciate it. Now this is PETG carbon fiber and it says Purely on it, but it is made by Tech. And basically the reason I've chosen carbon fiber PETG is because one, it's more durable and better at heat resistance. And I want this Umbreon to last like long term. I want to keep it forever. But also when I'm printing this, because it has carbon fiber in it, it'll have pretty much zero warp. It'll just mean that when I glue the pieces together, I don't have to worry that the edges are not going to be flush, and I can solder all the joints nice and easily to keep it even stronger. Now luckily when you get a Core 1L, you will also get an abrasive resistant nozzle in the box as well. So I swapped out the standard one to this one because I'm going to need it with this sort of filament, and this was literally just unscrew it and put the other one in. And then finally sent over the first print. Now printing Umbreon was going to take weeks and I wasn't going to just sit around. I had an Eevee to get on with, but I also had to do some shopping to get everything I would need for this entire project. My product list basically consisted of loads of different paints, from matte black for the Umbreon to all of the different colors for Eevee. And I'd also need primers and clear coat as well. I needed LED strips to put into the Umbreon, and finally a car body filler to hide any seams when I joined the pieces of the body together. So I actually printed a small version of Eevee to test the colors and make sure everything was right before committing to the main one. And it turned out pretty good. I was happy with the majority of it, but I did figure out a few issues that I wanted to address for the main one, so this was a good thing. One, my detail needed a little bit of work, but two, the edges was a big problem. I needed to find a way to mask the edges to get a clean airbrush rather than using brushes to touch it up in the end because it just looked patchy. There's probably a way to fix this, but I don't know how to do it. So I got the beige coat of the main Eevee done, and then I needed to figure out how to mask it. And after some research, I decided to use liquid mask.
So the mask is done, and it's completely covered from what I can tell, because if this isn't covered, I've never used this before, it could ruin it. So this is the consistency that we're at. It is very, very thin. I really hope that masking is gonna work. So it's like 2 AM, and I have to take this stuff off apparently. So what I read on Google anyway, that if you leave it on overnight or too long, that it can become really hard to get off. I'm concerned that it's gonna have leaked through and it's not gonna have done its job, but I guess we're gonna find out. So overall, it doesn't look great. There's a lot of blotching over here and stuff, which, yeah, it's actually kind of infuriating.
So it went terribly, but I wasn't going to let this be the end of it. I didn't want to not have an Eevee. So I put a new one on print, went to bed, and then the next day started from scratch. I ordered some good liquid mask online because it turned out that it just was rubbish liquid mask that I bought locally. And now look at this. This is the finished Eevee after starting from the beginning and going all the way to the end again, doing the exact same technique and method of spraying the beige coat first, liquid masking it all off, and then I got a good sharp brush and used thinned paint for the actual details, and I personally think it looks great. I learned a lot, but I'm happy with the outcome.
Very quick one, if you haven't already clicked subscribe, please do. The channel's growing faster than I ever could have imagined, and I appreciate it a ton, so let's try and keep it going, and let's get back to the video. So we've got our first Umbreon print here, and there's a couple of things to keep an eye out for. One is warping. Apparently, the heat bed of this printer should be like anti-warping because of how well it's evenly distributed, which it does look like the edges have 0 warping on, which is what I was mostly concerned with, which is why we have the carbon fiber as well. And then the other one, obviously, is the enclosure helps with printing in carbon fiber. I definitely wouldn't want to be printing carbon fiber in my small office without an enclosure. And also, I mean, I have an air filter, but this definitely helps a lot. So the first part of the head is finished and it looks so good. This kind of like brings the whole project to life almost. The idea is on the inside here is all hollow out so we can fill it with LEDs. The wires will run through the gap here and then the light will shine at the top and then it'll have its ring covered just at the top to diffuse the light.
So with all the pieces printed out and ready to go, it was time to finally remove all the supports, sand down any rough edges and start assembling this thing. Now when assembling this, I used super glue to hold the pieces together, but I also then followed around the edges where it joined together with a soldering iron to weld it all together as well, which I'll sand down any rough edges of course, but this just helps add a bit more strength to the joints too.
So far we have the tail on, the legs on, and it's standing on its own. I can put the lights into the actual places that it needs to go and start wiring it up, and then it's just going to be a matter of getting it all painted up.
Right, so let's explain how the wires actually work. I've got a terrible diagram for you to look at, but overall, the way that this works is I have a controller that has 4 pins coming off it, R, G, B, and power, and then you've basically got 4 branches from each color and power going to each place as well. I split the head and the ears into one place, the left legs and the right legs, and then the tail into its own place as well. So you've got a red going to one of each place, a green going to one of each place, and then the same with the other wires too. It is hectic, but I'm pretty sure this is the best way to do it considering I wanted to power this from one power bank. And this is actually what's going to make Umbreon a little bit special as well, which is what you're going to find out once we do the big reveal.
Red, green, and blue. It's working. Okay, perfect. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I'll fix that. The wires work, that's all that matters. The next thing to do is put this putty on, which I tried to do inside before assembling everything, but you have to do this outside. This stuff stinks. So we're gonna line all of the joins with this and then sand it all down so it should all be really smooth afterwards, at least that's what I'm hoping.
And this is basically just to cover all of the join lines and make it look like one whole continuous piece. And it's a lot of work, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Then it was time to get all the primer on this and leave it for another 24 hours so that I could finally start on painting. But at this point, it was already looking crazy, having a full Umbreon with the lights all wired up and everything. The finish point was so close.
And here is the finished Umbreon. Don't worry, there's going to be B-roll because the light in here just doesn't do this justice. And I tried filming outside, but the weather is horrendous now, so it is what it is. But we have the yellow Umbreon as a completely finished thing. And the surprise or the uniqueness that I teased you guys about earlier on, don't know if you caught it or not, but with this remote, we can now have the shiny Umbreon as well, just by pressing one button. And personally, I do think this looks a hell of a lot better than the yellow one, but that's only because of my own personal preference of the fact that I have the shiny one in the game, and I mean, shiny Umbreon just looks so damn good, man. Don't you think? It just looks incredible. But I couldn't think of any other Pokemon that would be able to allow me to do this, just pressing the different colors on the actual LEDs to be able to give myself the regular version and then have the shiny version as well. So either way, I am incredibly happy with this build. It has gone a lot better than I actually expected it to. It also took a hell of a lot longer than I expected it to, I'll be honest, but it was all worth it in the end. This thing is incredible. The paint on the face has all come out better than I expected it to too. And I don't know, I love it. I think it's absolutely great. There's definitely some things that I would do differently next time. For example, I would probably cover the entire thing in the bodywork putty, because if you get up close and personal to this, you can see that there is some sort of lines where I've sanded down the join seams. And that's just because of the fact that it's a lot like smoother and shinier than the actual part of the carbon fiber bit. The carbon fiber, if I could have that the whole way across, that would be better, but I can't. So if I had to go one way, I'd just cover the entire thing. But overall, super happy with it. Eevee inside the printer here, still looking absolutely great. I am impressed with how well I managed to make this actually come out. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think it's as good as I believe it is as well? I genuinely do. Prusa, thank you so much for sending me the Core 1L. I hope I've done it justice by using it for printing something to this scale. If you've got a big printer, to me, you should be printing big things, right? So hopefully this stands out as one of those things. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all in the next video.